many of us struggle to understand science, space, and the stars and beyond, unless you watch Star Trek or Star Wars or any of the sci-fi movies that I love. But that's why we have Neil deGrasse Tyson, world-renowned astrophysicist and director of New York City's Hayden Planetarium.
Yeah, he has a new book out called Astrophysics for People in a Hurry. That's me and you, Vi, for sure. It's meant to bring out of this world ideas down to earth, and we are excited to welcome the Starman himself. We just gave you a nickname.
We just coined that nickname for you.
No, he's not feeling the Starman. We might have to workshop something for you.
I'm not feeling it. Even though his tie is full of little stars.
Oh yeah, thank you. It's actually hand painted.
Look at that.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Is that our solar system?
This is our galaxy. The
so
Milky
is
Way.
it accurate?
You see, you watch too many Star Wars. You don't know what it.
I don't know the difference between a galaxy and a solar system.
The galaxy far away.
Right.
Yeah.
So listen, this book is very conversational, and I could kind of hear your voice as I was reading.
Thank you. In fact, it's the first of my books that I actually did the audio track for. So if you get the audio version, it is my voice.
You.
So how will this help people in a hurry?
So it's.
Will it slow us down?
The idea was there are people who have gotten fragments of knowledge out there. They saw a headline go by, they channel surfed past a documentary, and they've heard the terms dark matter or dark energy or exoplanet or multiverse, and they haven't quite put it together in one coherent story. So I thought to myself, let me empower people in a hurry to become conversant in this topic, in my favorite subject, and I think it's many people's favorite subject, whether or not you're a scientist working in the field. And so this is, I'd like to think, a consummation of your relationship with the cosmos.
You also have been it's very deep. You've also been very outspoken.
That's all I'm saying.
You've dropped the mic many times on conversations related to climate change. You've been pretty outspoken about it and science in general. And in today's political climate, what do people need to know from a scientific standpoint about global warming and the causes of it?
No, it's so. I think differently about it. The fact that we have college-educated adults that are standing in denial of established scientific truths means there's something missing in kindergarten through 12 education. And I think what's going on is we think of students as these vessels, and you unzip their head in kindergarten, and you start pouring knowledge in, and by the time you're a senior, they zip you back up and slap you with a diploma and declare you educated. And somewhere in there, what's missing is training about how to think about knowledge, information, how to process data, how to interpret knowledge. I don't think that's there. If it is, it's there in only small amount. I can tell you, whatever we're doing, it's missing on a level that somehow allows college-educated people to not know what science is, nor how and why it works. So if you go running around to the adult and say, no, this is wrong, you're this or that, I'm, as an educator, saying there's something missing down here. And science is a process of how we reveal objective truths in this world. And once science, and by the way, an objective truth is not your experiment saying this is true. Right. No, I say, I don't believe, let me double check that. And I think you're wrong. And I design another experiment and say, hey, I get kind of the same result. Somebody else says, oh, I get kind of the same result too. And one maybe gets a different result. But what matters is the consensus of observations, and not a consensus of opinion. Opinion is irrelevant here. It's the observations and the data. If they start orbiting a single new truth, that is an emergent scientific truth. And if you do not know that, something's missing in your educational background. And if you, by the way, this is a free country. You can think and say whatever you want. But if what you think and say is scientifically illiterate, and you rise to power over legislation that affects us all, that is the beginning of the end of an informed democracy.
So
just drop the mic again.
Yeah, he did.
Boom.
And
well, give me a mic to
just drop that mic.
drop the highlighter.
No, that was a highlighter.
And when you drop that mic,
could you get a mic in here, please?
Don't drop it. We need the mic on you so we can continue this conversation.
But that's a good example of, when you drop the mic or when you drop that pen, gravity, that doesn't change no matter what time we live in, no matter what your interpretation of it, that gravity.
An objective scientific truth is true whether or not you believe in it.
So you think the part of the problem is that we're sort of not teaching curiosity?
So I think you don't have to teach it because we're born with it. You just got to figure out how to educate people in a way that doesn't squash it. Every 5-year-old child, hey, what's this? Can I do this? Can I? Everything is curious. A 5-year-old, 8-year-old, in that sort of those tender ages, everything around them is a mystery that they want to uncover. And somewhere in middle school, early high school, that gets beaten out of us, or it becomes devalued relative to memorize this for this exam. And this is how you can get legions of people graduating from high school or college, and they'll walk down the steps and toss their notes in the air and say, I'm done. You're done? Your only job until now was to learn.
Right.
And now you're saying you're done? Right. Does that mean you're done learning?
Right.
What are you done? What? So another thing that's missing, to your point, is I think the most fundamental aspect of coming out of school should be that you remain curious the rest of your life. Then you become a lifelong learner. Then when someone says something conflicting, you say, let me investigate that.
Right.
And the curiosity becomes your path to truth finding for the rest of your life. And you would not have these warring factions of people who disagree on what is objectively scientifically true.
You must find it particularly ironic that we're living in a time where we have access to so much information. You could be a self-taught astrophysicist if you really wanted to be.
If you wanted to be.
But access to information is not knowledge, is it?
Well, so here's the problem. You have some weird idea that violates all known laws of physics, but you think it's true. And then you type that into Google, and then it finds every other person who thinks exactly the way you do,
right.
and it affirms what you think is reality. And so then you end up creating, this has been discussed, you create a bubble of your own belief system that goes unchallenged because you're only finding other people that agree with you.
Have facts become fuzzy now?
No, they've never been fuzzy. People think they are, but they're not.
Facts are facts.
Yeah, but fact is a fact, if it's verified, okay? And so I think the problem is, in spite of our access to unlimited knowledge, built into that system is the susceptibility of enclosing yourself in a bubble. And every day I try to read things that differ from what I know, and to explore what may be true outside of the regimes that I've studied every day. And if you only have bookshelves that agree with everything you ever said and thought, you are not learning. You are not growing. You are not taking yourself to new places in this world. And think of how many years you spend not in school.
Right.
That's where most of the learning happens. I would say most of what I know today never happened in school.
Right. School is meant to be sort of the spark that encourages you to learn.
It's an ignition of a flame that we ideally would burn for the rest of your life. What I try to do for people in a hurry is it's a curated selection of cosmic knowledge and enlightenment that ideally just blows your mind every 5 pages. Okay?
That is exactly.
You know what? It's true, though.
Yeah, it really is.
You find yourself being like, wait, what?
Well, can I offer you an example? I don't know, we're running out of time here. I don't know how you do it.
This is fascinating.
Okay, so I'll just give you an example. There's something called dark energy in the universe. We don't know what it is, but we can measure it. And it's responsible for the acceleration of galaxies in the expanding universe. They're accelerating faster and faster. There will come a day when all galaxies of the night sky have accelerated beyond our horizon. But it's these very galaxies that give us information about the history of the universe, right on back to the Big Bang. So imagine a civilization that rises up after that time. They will not even know that there was a Big Bang. They will not even know that there were once a sky filled with galaxies. They will not even know this. And so all of their cosmology will be incomplete. What leaves me awake at night, preventing me from sleeping, is wondering, is there some chapter of the universe ripped from the book of the universe that we've been studying that prevents us from establishing as deep an understanding as we can or should?
Yeah.
Because all we have is the cards we've been dealt. That's all. So that's all throughout. And by the way, people, I've been asked, did you name it that because Astrophysics for Dummies was taken? I said, no, it's not. It's not.
That'd be Astrophysics for Vlad.
No, it's not It's real astrophysics, but parceled in a way that you can read it at the bus station, on a plane, just places because you're a busy person and you're going from one place to another. And ideally,
very portable too.
Ideally, you would read this, and then you would say, "Whoa, I want to learn more." And then whatever next book or next documentary you will make the time to do that and let everything else orbit that curiosity.
The book is Astrophysics for People in a Hurry. Neil deGrasse Tyson, it's been an honor, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yes,
All right.
This is great.